Let's move on to the myelodysplastic syndromes. So myelodysplastic syndromes is going to be myeloid, something related to myeloid cells only, and there is going to be dysplasia. And these myelodysplastic syndromes can in turn become acute leukemia, especially acute AML. Okay, so myelodysplastic syndrome can progress on to become acute myeloid leukemia. So what are the features of dysplasia we see? So the dysplasia features are going to be seen in all the three myeloid lineages, which is RBC, WBCs and platelets. So in RBCs, you are going to see ringed sideroblasts. Along with that, you can also see nuclear budding. So this image I had it is actually showing a ringed sideroblast. So sideroblasts are actually iron particles only. So the iron particles are going to be deposited in the RBC precursors here, and they are going to be arranged in a peripheral rim-like structure around the nucleus. That is why they are called as ringed sideroblasts. So you can, since it is iron particle, you have to stain it with Pearl's Prussian blue reaction to highlight the iron. Only when Pearl's Prussian blue, you can see a ringed sideroblast. So this ringed particles have to cover more than 1/3 of the nucleus. So of the nuclear periphery, the rim is there, right? So it should cover at least more than 1/3 of the circumference of the nucleus. And there should be multiple particles present in this. Okay. So in WBCs, if you see, you are going to have the pseudo-Pelger-Huet abnormality as a dysplastic feature. Pseudo-Pelger-Huet abnormality. So pseudo-Pelger-Huet was nothing but hyposegmented neutrophils. So in this, both the neutrophils are just having 2 lobes, right, rather than 3. So it is hyposegmented neutrophils, which we call it as pseudo-Pelger-Huet anomaly. Apart from that, you can also get hypersegmented nucleus, and then you can have hypergranulation or hypogranulation. Basically, this dysplasia is going to be abnormal. So anything other than normal, you can tell. So, and sometimes the nucleus is going to look like a donut like this. Center is going to be empty and it is going to look like a donut. So donut kind of nucleus is also seen in MDS. In platelet, you are going to have something called as pond ball megakaryocytes. So these are nothing but the megakaryocyte. Usually the nucleus is just a single nucleus only, but it is multi-lobated. So it is not multinucleated, it is multi-lobated kind of a nucleus which we see in megakaryocytes. But in this pond ball megakaryocytes, it is actually becoming into 3 different nuclei. So if you see, this has become separated. The nuclear lobes have been separated, and usually it is 3 lobed like this. So in the pawnbroker shop, if you see, there is a symbol like this, a ball kind of thing, which is looking exactly like this. So that is why this name of pond ball megakaryocytes have been given. So apart from that, again, the platelets have either a hypergranulation or a hypogranulation as well. So the major 3 features for MDS is ringed sideroblasts in RBCs, then apart from that, pseudo-Pelger-Huet anomaly in WBCs, and then pond ball megakaryocytes in platelet lineage. Okay, so these 3 classical features are there for MDS. So here it is the blast count. If you see, it is going to be less than 20%, obviously, because more than 20% it becomes an AML. So in bone marrow, if you see, the bone marrow is going to be quite hypercellular. So bone marrow will be hypercellular, while in the peripheral smear, you are going to see pancytopenia. So what is happening actually, there is going to be ineffective hematopoiesis. Ineffective hematopoiesis in the sense, the cells which are going to be formed, right, in the bone marrow, they are going to be dying. They are not going to reach the peripheral blood. They are dying in the bone marrow itself. So that even though the bone marrow is hypercellular, they are going to result in a pancytopenic picture in a peripheral blood. So this is characteristic. So in the genetics for MDS is going to be classical. AML with myelodysplasia related changes, I mentioned. The cytogenetics of MDS is classical. So the first thing is the deletion 5q, which is the most common genetic abnormality in MDS. And in fact, it is a very good prognostic deletion, cytogenetic abnormality also. Okay, so most common is deletion 5q. And in children, if you see, there is going to be monosomy 7. Monosomy 7 is going to be common in the cytogenetic abnormality, common in the children. Apart from that, you can also have deletion 8 and deletion 20q and trisomy 8 as well. So now we have seen about MDS. Let's move on to MDS bar MPN. So this is a specific category of diseases wherein both dysplasia and proliferative kind of features are going to combine. So in MDS, it was dysplasia. In MPN, it was proliferation. So it is going to combine both dysplasia and proliferation in this category. So in this, we have three main diseases, which is chronic myelomonocytic leukemia. So it is not CML, it is myelomonocytic, not chronic myelocytic leukemia. It is chronic myelomonocytic leukemia, juvenile myelomonocytic leukemia, JMML, and then atypical CML. Okay. So in CMML, so it is not CML, right? So the Philadelphia chromosome is going to be negative. And since the name is having monocytic, it means that there is going to be monocytic proliferation here. And the monocyte count should be more than 10,000, more than 1000 per millimeter cube in the peripheral blood. And blast should be less than 20%, obviously, otherwise it is becoming a AML. So blast count is less than 20%, Philadelphia chromosome is negative, and monocytosis is going to be more than 1000 per millimeter cube. And apart from that, since it is an MDS bar MPN group of disease, there is going to be dysplasia as well. So proliferation is there, and then dysplasia is going to be there. In JMML, if you see, it is also associated with negative Philadelphia chromosome. There is no Philadelphia chromosome. Then monocytosis is again going to be more than or equal to 1000. And then blast count is again going to be less than 20%. But here, since it's juvenile, it is going to be seen in children, and it is associated with NF1. So neurofibromatosis 1. So NF1 is associated with JMML. Apart from that, there is going to be immature granulocytes in the peripheral blood. And classically, you are going to have elevated HbF levels in this patients, and monosomy 7. So monosomy 7 was associated with MDS in children, right? So a cytogenetic abnormality most common in children is monosomy 7. So the same thing here, since it's a child, you are going to have a monosomy 7. So this part of dysplasia had come, this part of dysplasia had come, right? And there is going to be proliferation. So it has come under the MDS MPN category now. Then the next one will be the atypical CML category. So atypical CML, so again, it is not CML. So Philadelphia chromosome is negative. Here we are going to have neutrophilic precursors which are going to be elevated as in a CML only, but and it is going to be more than 10%. But here the basophils will not be elevated. So basophil percentage will be less than 2% only. Blast count will be less than 20% since it's not an AML, and the monocyte count is going to be less than 10%. Okay, so this is important. Basophils and monocytes are again less here.